There is absolutely no way we lost this election. Absolutely no way.
I think what we're going to see, the election results, the math on it is bullshit.
Donald Trump stole the election from Kamala Harris. This time around, he won the popular vote, so this has got to say something.
They are saying that something is up.
What's going on, guys? So we knew that this day would come, okay? I've already seen rumblings about this previously, but now I'm seeing it more and more and more throughout the days because Democrats cannot believe that Donald Trump had such an epic sweep of the electorate, okay? All 7 swing states. He increased the amount of Republican voters across 49 states. Some reports are saying 50, some are saying 49. So I'll just say 49 just to be a little modest here because I can afford it because it was such a resounding success. Swept the popular vote, something a Republican hasn't done in 20 plus years. So this is a big deal. Now, there are some people who are trying to say, oh, it doesn't really matter. He only won the popular vote by like a little bit. And, you know, all the elections in every swing state were kind of close. And all of this stupid stuff, which doesn't matter because effectively everything that needed to happen in order for Trump to win and win resoundingly, he did. So there's definitely nothing you can say to take away from that. But what some people are doing is the thing that they said that you should get arrested for, something that should be treasonous, acting like it's an insurrection. We got insurrection talk going in this conversation with Chris Cuomo and his caller Nancy on the Chris Cuomo Project. This caller saying that the election had to be stolen. There's no way that Trump was able to defeat them. Like all the polls and all this stuff was looking like it was in Harris's favor, just like Hillary Clinton in 2016. So we saw how that went. I tried to tell him, hell, I even got in an argument with damn ChatGPT about who was going to win the election. They said Kamala Harris was going to win because of polling. I was like, well, didn't the polling suggest that before? In 2016, like the liberal polling, like these left-wing polls always say that the leftists have advantage no matter what, and they're always wrong. They're never close. Rasmussen is one of the closest always, but everybody else is always wrong. So, you know, it's nobody's fault if these dummies don't get that there's a pattern here, and I guarantee you in 2028 is going to be the exact same thing. Guaranteed. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Hi, Mr. Chris Cuomo. This is Nancy. I am calling from Pennsylvania. I was a New Yorker. I'm calling in reference to the election. You probably are getting like a million phone calls. There is absolutely no way we lost this election. Absolutely no way. If you look at a tape when the Speaker of the House was here in Pennsylvania, he was rubbing his hands and stating that him and former President Trump had something up their sleeves. Please call me. I know we did not lose this election. I am positive there's something not right. He swept. Nothing in history has been like this. Please, we are deeply disappointed. Something is not right. He did something. Something is not right. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, the something that he did is he made America great again in 2016. So we want him to do the same thing. Speaker Johnson, in terms of what he was doing, he probably, there's 2 things that Speaker Johnson was doing. One, he was probably talking about the fact that they were expanding the Republican Party, something that the Democrats weren't really doing. They were kind of trying to get like those independent type voters out rather than people who had never voted before. The Republicans got like a massive new amount of voters, including the youth vote out. Okay, like new young voters, something that the Democrats historically have been good at. The Republicans were actually better at that in this election. Second thing is it was probably trolling. Like Donald Trump and the Republicans at this point, since they know how radical and crazy the Democrats are, they love trolling them and saying things to make them go crazy so that they'll start going off on these wild different conspiracies. And then you'll see the fake news jump all into it because they love to call everything conspiracy theory when it comes from the right. But when it comes from the left, they love to act like it has a massive amount of credibility. And, you know, the Republicans are some sort of massive liars and cheaters and schemers and scammers and all of this stuff, even though there's no evidence of that. So I think you can chalk up a lot of that to, yes, trolling by Mike Johnson.
We lived through it in 2016, by the way. And look, I get why you're upset. And that's okay, by the way. And could you have been misled that everybody said it was going to be close? Yeah, but they said that Pennsylvania was going to be close also. And I think you're taking they've got something out of this up his sleeve. I think that was a bullshit Trumpism. Something that he said.
Basically.
No Democrat in Pennsylvania or anywhere else has brought forward proof that the election was fugazi.
As a matter of fact, she's in Pennsylvania. Isn't that where they tried to cheat and tried to count illegal votes?
What's happened now is in Bucks County specifically, they are going against the Supreme Court's ruling that if they're not signed or they're not dated correctly, they're going to count them anyway. And this is what I tell people. These boards of elections and these judges, they're timid. They're scared. The left fights and they always capitulate. And that's what's happening in Bucks. So right now, McCormick's team has filed a lawsuit to hold them accountable and say, no, hold on a second. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has ruled that you cannot count a ballot. It is not legal if it's not dated correctly.
Last Thursday, when you were deciding that you should count illegal ballots, missing at least one signature, the attorney said over and over again that it is illegal to count these. Diane said, quote, precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate the laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to me.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Imagine if the Republicans tried that. Man, there'll be so many freaking people in jail right now. There'd be so many freaking DOJ indictments right now if the Republicans tried this. I hope that Donald Trump goes after these people criminally, put their ass in jail. That's the only way that they'll stop, guys. Put him in jail for cheating on elections. He promised that he would, and I know he wants to make America great again, but this has to happen if you want to stop these people. It's the only way.
Or rigged or wrong. And if they do, then we'll look at that proof. But you're 100% sure, you're positive. How can you be positive? There's been no proof of that other than this speculation that you point to. Don't be like what you oppose. You know, that's what an aggrieved Trump voter sounded like in 2020.
Yeah, except I think there's way more evidence of that. So we actually talked about how they had all this evidence, but because the election was over, they basically wouldn't accept it. Like there's all this stuff that they tried this election and they got away with in 2020. And they had this whole mail-in thing where nobody could verify anything. So every day, just you get a mail-in ballot. You get a mail-in ballot. Your family gets a mail-in ballot. Your dead relatives get mail-in ballots. Everybody, you just send in mail-in ballots for your cousins, your uncles, your moms, your friends. And then you could easily steal an election. And when you have people that are left-wing lunatics playing cover for you, then how are you going to challenge the election? That was the most different and strangest and oddest and most BS election in the whole history of me being alive, maybe ever. So yes, this election was actually much more normal, and under normal circumstances, Trump would have won a 2020 election as well. But let's keep going.
And I don't think you want to be that. I think you want to be better than that. I think a really interesting dynamic for you to look at in terms of what's shocking is that less people voted this time than last time. And that's weird with an expanding population. It shows how unmotivated people were. And I'm not...
Guys, it was cheating in 2020. Okay, I don't care what the little YouTube message says, like Donald Trump lost Twitter. I don't care what it says. The little Wikipedia message says. Like there's a reason why less people voted. It's because they couldn't cheat this time.
Not surprised. I was a little surprised. But it is instructive of just how unproductive division is.
Yeah, the question is division from who? Because I know a lot of people try to say that Donald Trump was the divider in chief, even though every time you hear him talking, the only people who he speak bad about is illegal migrants and illegal migrant criminals. But they try to act like he's a flaming racist, misogynist, all these different things. he bringing black people on the stage. He's speaking fondly of black people. It used to be damn near best friends with Oprah Winfrey at one point. Along Ben Carson, him and Ben Carson are still really tight. What's the dude's name? Tim Scott. Like, I'm not really a Tim Scott fan, but Tim and Tim Scott are bros. Byron Donalds, Wesley Hunt. Like, there's a lot of people and all kinds of people who he had at all his rallies. It's like, how much evidence do you need of it? And same thing for women. He got a bunch of women in his administration. I mean, his chief of staff is a woman. They try to say he's a misogynist and he hates women. Like, he doesn't respect women. I mean, none of this stuff makes sense, guys. They literally just say things. There's no truth to anything that's said. Against Donald Trump, a lot of these people aren't even smart enough to know what the actual valid criticism of him are. I know what they are. I'm not going to mention them here on this. Like, why the hell would I? Why the hell would I get these dumbasses ammunition? I'm going to let them just flail and keep throwing out stupid words and stupid labels that they think are going to work because they're not smart enough to actually analyze the true criticisms of Donald Trump. Instead, they want to poke at tariffs, something that literally the United States and other countries have always used since well before most of these analysts and contributors and whatever have been alive, and they work well. And Trump introduced more of them in 2016 that are still in place, by the way, and are still effective, by the way. But all of a sudden, tariffs are going to destroy the country. These people are stupid, guys. They're not smart. Doesn't matter how many degrees and certifications and licensures and whatever that they have. Doesn't matter how long they've been speaking on TV and how much some people respect them and all of this stuff. These people are a bunch of hacks. And my job here is to prove that each and every single day. And I feel like they're making it as easy as taking candy from a baby. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
Because I think it was too big to rig.
He did something.
It was too big to rig.